All right, welcome everyone. We have a wonderful session today. Dr. Pedro Hernandez from the School of Social Work is going to talk to us about using AI to work with your assessments of students so that they are adaptive, so that they respond to the students, kind of where they are in their learning journey. So I am going to stop talking because this is really fascinating and I want to let Dr. Hernandez take over. So, Dr. Hernandez?
Yes, thank you very much for that introduction. I'm not going to waste any time and get to it. Basically, uh, let's see. So this is the third of the last one of my workshop for the faculty scholars. So welcome. So there's a lot of talk. This is a long topic, which I am going to make very specific and short, because adaptive assessment could cover so many type of assessment. I am only going to focus on essays, and essays could be, uh, you know, I have weekly discussion with my students. That could be, you know, or it could be a paper. All right. Um, and that's usually obviously in Canvas, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I don't do multiple choice because that there's so many ways you can use your publisher may provide you with the multiple choice and etc. So there are so many other ways of assessment. So because this is I'm not gonna say it's the hardest one, but it may be because the others one are, like I said, multiple choice or true and false, etc. So I'm just going to concentrate on essays, right? And also essays provide both in the direction of the professor to student, provides the most, I think, most input and feedback, and you know, so I want to maximize that, and the other way too, right? Because you may decide, like I do, to give them a chance to, here are what you did right, here is what you did wrong. Do you want to resume it before the deadline? Go ahead. And so that's up to you. But it's those kind of things are probably more difficult on the obviously on a multiple choice, right? Anyway, so I'm gonna skip a few slides. This one I am not gonna because this is sort of the benefits of why do it with AI. Well, because manual grading can be time consuming, resource intensive, if you have many students. I know you're thinking, well, if it's doing it, where's my input? We'll get to that because one thing that I want to make clear, and it's my dogma, my philosophy, my sort of rules, is that I only use AI to as a tool, as an instrument to help me do better. Yeah, faster. I'm not gonna lie, faster too. But I want to be in control, and hopefully that become extremely clear as you see where I'm going. Um, yes, there's human bias in when we grade, and then sometimes we're tired, sometimes whatever, we haven't had enough coffee, who knows? Could be anything, human bias. Our AI bias? Well, of course, it can hallucinate, but my other big take sort of main sort of takeaway from this presentation is that give AI the most info you want in terms, or you can, I should say, that is relevant, that it makes your responses being yours, that is your responses being for this particular class, for this particular subject, you know, anyway, so, and then it also allows you to be faster, the feedback, it may allow students to say, oh, I forgot this, you know, and here is what I want. My philosophy is that I will tell my students everything good and everything not so good. However, they don't need, if I list 6 um, suggestions, let's say suggestions, they don't have to have had provided me with those 6 suggestions, right? To get 10 out of 10 or 100 out of 100. Those are in a hopefully perfect world, or this is what this is all about learning. So I believe that just because you have a 10 out of 10 or 100 or 100 or even an A or 4.0, you could have done better in the sense of learning, that is, right? Learning. So that's my whole point. Students get confused, and I'm clear. I am striving for teaching you, letting you to learn everything or that I can. Of course, I'm limited. Sometimes AI helps. I'm not going to lie to you. That's the other benefit. It may cover that gap between you and that unknown space, right? That, oh, I forgot this. Oh, I'm in social work, so practice is very important. So, I haven't practiced whatever, and maybe I forget something. Maybe there's something new, so it you can use it as a tool to bridge that gap. Okay, then let's keep going. Oops. No, that's fine. Now, I basically am gonna skip through many of these slides. Um, if, I'll give it you a second to read it if you want to, but that's fine. Um, I am gonna go directly into the sort of practical section. This is, and I'm sorry, and I said this during my presentation last Friday, I think it was February 28th. Apologize for those in math. If you want to contact me, because myself and Doc, there's some of us who have dabbled in other areas of AI adaptive learning, and it may help you with math, chemistry, and everything else. You're going to have to contact us, and that's fine. Okay, so I am going to start, even though I have ChatGPT first, I am going to start with Essay Grader. Let me double check. Yeah. Essay Grader is, when I look into this topic, year ago, or maybe, and I found several. Essay Grader is one of the top ranked. You have here in your screen the link. It does have a basic free plan. It can grade 25 essays per month free. Let's see, summarize 20 essays per month. Essay word count limit to 1,000 words and simple rubrics. I cannot click, well, I could, but there's time limited. There are videos. I had a video connected to the PowerPoint. If you want that, you can look up my name in the JSU and send me an email, ask me for this complete, the full PowerPoint, that's fine. And it would have the link to the video. If not, I'm sure you can go to YouTube and click, for, Essay Grader, AI.
Hernandez, I just want to say, we do send out a link to the slides. So,
Okay, thank you. Let's see, oops. So, there are others. So this is basically there are other ones, and of course, this is a video, so there's no question. So in terms of the PowerPoint, then I'm done. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna switch my screen to ESSA Grader, right? Everybody sees ESSA Grader, right? So I have the paid subscription because I wanted to test it for everybody and for myself. So I believe, and this is how I did it. And this is the main screen. There's nothing, I didn't jump to, you can see from the URL is the basic, this is what you're seeing. I believe that the first thing would be to create a rubric. And I already have created my own rubric. You can use a template. We're not going to go through all the different iterations. Build with AI, import it, and start from scratch. So I here have a recently used one, essay evaluation rubric AI option. Now, as you can see down the list, they have several. Now, if you go, oh, maybe I need to do this. Use the template. It's not, or anyway, they have a long list of different, I'm not gonna go through them because of time. Oh, sorry. I forgot, my bad. The platform, the, if you can see at the bottom of your screen, now, a lot of these are for, like you see, 6th grade, 11th grade. If you keep going, you're gonna see college, which, trust me, there is, and you can try them, and again, those are templates. I'm not gonna go through every single one. I'm just gonna show you a basic example. So I already created one, and it, trust me, it's quite simple. It's just you fill out things that you can make it hard, you can make it in easy to grade, etc. And trust me, I may be going a little bit fast, but there's a reason, because after this I'm going to be talking about ChatGPT. So anyway, so okay, so this is the grading. You can add it manually. You can import from Google Classroom. We don't have Google Classroom. Now, this is the one that attracted me a lot, import from Canvas. So here's the bad news. It doesn't import nothing that I was told that if you're doing weekly discussions, what is called discussions in Canvas, a lot of the commercial available app would not work. Canvas, I don't know if it's Canvas, the company or whatever, is not allowing discussions to be analyzed in any way. I'm just gonna leave it like that. I don't know all the details. Don't quote me on that. You just that you can. And I was told by a good source that okay. So because I am using um and also it is a little bit more complicated. You have anyway, but technically it may be possible as long as it's a is like a whatchamacallit, a final paper. That's not that is not what I'm doing today. Uh, and the truth is that uh, right now I haven't been able to use the import from Canvas. I'm still in the process of learning. But this is not about essay grader per se. This is about comparing a commercially available essay grader to ChatGPT. That's my main. So how do I do that? Um, so I select the class. It actually, this is an actual class that I'm teaching this semester. Select assignment, discussion number 7, you know, it says here, essay, the rubric, because that's the one that I created. You can choose a different one, etc. And then upload essays. Okay, I'm gonna load an essay. I strip all the oops, I strip all the name of the student. Okay, so there's an essay. What I just did is that because it's an essay, sorry, because it's a discussion, I just cut and paste the thing from Canvas. Okay. Then, language, you know, I'm gonna go through normal, the grading essay, just because that's what I did. Um, I'm just gonna go because I wanted to test it. Just gonna go with the detail lens. Now here is I can put instructions, and it could be as complicated as you want. Like sometimes I tell to you have a minimum of 300 words. I'm not going to put anything here, just to let you know that you have 1,000 words to put custom instructions. So to continue, then grade. Okay. Um, I have to admit that all of these discussions are not that long. So just you're gonna see how long it takes to to grade it. So imagine a paper. So take that into account, because that's one of the disadvantages of using this commercial one, which is really very well ranked, by the way. It's probably number one. So okay, so it didn't take long. It may be so you can see here, I'll open the report in a second, but you can see that 16 out of 20. This 20 total, you can set it up, obviously, everything, then 80%. So when it's ready to look, you can open the report. And let me move my picture and Dr. Pineda's picture to the left, so I can see the report. So report feedback. So because you can notice that because of the rubric, writing style, right? Because that's one of the things, or in the rubric, 3 out of 4, relevance of the essay, suggestions, express opinion, contribution to learning community. Those were, so now, if you can imagine, if I would have put instructions like, I want this discussion to include a theory that we use in this chapter, right? And if it's not there, it needs to. So it's obviously extremely customizable. All right. If I'm going too fast, let me know. So writing, uh, this is for the writing sort of criticism and grammar, etc. Which I only teach masters and PhD students, so writing for me is extremely high up or at least 10% of any grade. AI detection, obviously, we know that there's no good AI detection available. So, but it's there. And then comments, I think those are my comments. So there you go. Was I totally impressed? Maybe not. So let's move on. So that's my take on a paid, although again, I show you what you can get for free, but a commercially available essay grader. So I am gonna log out just to get out and here. Now, I'm not sure if I need to, Dr. Becerra, am I showing the ChatGPT on the
Yes,
screen?
you are.
Okay, cool. So basically this is what I do with ChatGPT. Um, there are many, this is the main page of ChatGPT. And this is the line, or the few lines, or the command that I use. Okay. First, let me show you a certain thing. If you happen to have the chapters, let's say the PDF, everything have to be in PDF, right? If you happen to have oh, I know, it's in the document of my class. Okay, so I am uploading the chapter. Okay, so I'm gonna go, I could have uploaded everything, every single document that I'm gonna use, but just to go step by step, I would say something, this is the prompt, right? You say, please, I'm always very courteous with any AI, because if they take over the world, you better be on their good side. Please, base or refer your assessment. I haven't attached it yet, but I will, of the, actually, I'm not gonna touch it, of the discussion below, or the below discussion. I'm not gonna, any phone base as a, okay. I do have Grammarly correcting my spelling, so please base your assessment on the of the discussion below. Please, sorry, I'm constructing. Please base your assessment. Please, please, sorry. Please use the attach. You don't need to, it will know. I'm just being, sometimes it's good to put the information because you forget, right? Please use the attached chapter 7 document to list, and this is what I usually do, the strengths and weaknesses of the discussion below. I have not copied the discussion yet, okay? So I said, now, as I always said, writing the word weaknesses have worked extremely well for me. I don't put the word weaknesses in the student's report. I use areas of improvement or suggestions, so just to make that clear, but I've been doing it this way, and sometimes I don't even have to write it, and boom, anyway, so, but this is not what the students are gonna get anyway. And then, okay, and usually I do this. In the past, grading, some of this AI doesn't like gradings, but there's a way to circumvent that by saying, please rank this discussion on a scale from 1 to 10. Now, obviously you can do 1 to 100, but my weekly discussion, they're 10 points, so I'm just gonna stick to that. Now, that it could be enough. I add this, like make sure that the discussion use the material from chapters. I know I'm doing typos. Chapter 7. Because I, I teach asynchronous courses. I don't know. And this is sometimes my only chance to check if they read. Really. Make sure, not the only one, but yeah, make sure that discussion use the material. Sorry, I was right the first. Uses, yes. The material from chapter 7. Okay. And I can use Grammarly. Now I don't use that. I call them discussion, not debate. Let's see. Make sure. Okay. So now I'm ready. Now remember that in all this AI, you have to use shift and parish return or enter. If not, it's gonna just. So what I can do now is paste the discussion. Can I put it as a file? Yeah, but discussions are not so long. So I used to I think I closed that file, but that's fine. So anyway, so yeah, I am gonna add it to the as a file. which, oh, oh, wait a second. No, 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 no. No, that's because I said they have to be PDF. I have it here. Ooh, yes. No, this is the actual chapter of the book. This is the student discussion. So, I can actually copy it or or upload the PDF, but it's kind of short, right? So copy, you may not have seen what I did because I was going to, anyway, luckily you're seeing what I'm seeing in ChatGPT. So there we go. Make sure that everything is fine. I don't correct their spelling because I want ChatGPT to tell me that they did a bad job. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, so the all the info is there. I tell them what to do. There is a discussion. It could be longer, but you know, and then boom, there we go. How it goes. Um, well, it doing. I'm not gonna talk because of time. Can you do several discussions in one batch? Yes, but you without it with, let's just say, with limited programming skills. You can just put them all in like a Word. Well, it would be first Word document, but then it would have to be PDF and put them sort of one after the other. And then just just say, analyze all of this. And yes, you can do a few in one shot. I'm not doing that today because of time and just giving you the easiest thing that I can think of. So here we go. So, and then here's the detail. This is from some chat GPT. Here's the detailed evaluation, da 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 da. Ooh, oh, yeah, this is not the real student. This is the case study name. So strengths of the discussion, you know, I always include them. Obviously, I have to read them and see that everything is copacetic. Don't, sometimes I use them directly. Sometimes I add my own because I have to read the discussion. Of course, if you're in a hurry, you do what you need to do. But I never just use the chat GPT. As you can see, there are weaknesses. Like I said, I don't never use that language. And then it tells you, well, while Erickson, this theory, because in social work theories are very important, you know, is indirectly referenced, it says that you should have mentioned all of this, right? Da, 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 da. And it is not too, sometimes for me, this is too brief because I need to highlight the importance of what they're missing, but it save a lot of time. Now, to like I said, using just this, for all I know, it could be perfect, and the students would appreciate it, and you will be, you know, satisfying their requirements for grading and et cetera, et cetera. I That's not me. I need to, I use it as a guide. Yeah, it helps me. Sometimes I do, sometimes is you don't need to do that for everybody. Once you do a few, you can go on your own personal, you know, but you be you. I'm just giving you an option. And then, spelling, and then the overall rating. Now, personally, I think because maybe if I added some more instructions, uh, just to make a long story short, I usually think that the majority, and I don't only use ChatGPT, are a little bit tough on the students. It gives me a starting point, but they usually do better than 6.5. And because if they submit early, I'm giving them a chance to to uh, to resubmit. Now, this is the other thing. It gives you a rationale. I didn't even ask for it. So if they, why do you give me that grade? Here we go. Now, and then suggestion for improvement. The only thing is this part um, is the short version of of the weaknesses. So if I consider some of these weaknesses explanation too brief, imagine how would I feel about this suggestion. They're certainly too brief, but it gives you a good starting point, or maybe more, depending on, you know, I I have to admit or say something. In my rubric, in my syllabuses, one important point is to submit your assignments on time and early. So it pays to submit early and not wait to the last minute, because for obvious reason, you submit early, you get a chance. Now, I could end up this presentation right now. And the other thing that I should say, this is from experience. I maybe I'm editorializing here, but there's a lot of asking questions that professor asks. Oh, how do I avoid AI? Avoid AI. I'm not going to get into all of that, but I heard in talks that sort of national talk, that people say, I, as a professor, I assume that everybody uses AI. Okay, if you assume that, let's say that that is the case. Personally, if anybody's using AI, they don't know how to use it, because I always find, you know, issues. So if they were really using, they don't know how to use AI. Now, you can argue that maybe we should teach them, but that's not the topic of my discussion today, my talk today. There's a lot more things to be discussed. But the thing is that I, even if they use AI, I know that I'm telling them, I'm doing my best to tell them things that they did not do. There is learning to be done, and thanks to me using AI and knowing how to use it, and this is just a very, very quick and dirty, so to speak, example. It can be more, you can do way more. And if I think I just said what I wanted to say, that I always find something to be taught, no matter what the students submit, even if it's a 10-10, and I give them 10, I think that they did a good job. There's some ways that they can improve what they know. All right. So that's the message here. Thank you very much. Like I said, I'm basically done a minute ago, but I just wanted to add that.
Thank you, Dr. Hernandez. Um, yeah, I think it's really interesting how many different ways there are to use AI and Chat GPT in particular, whether you pay for the $20 a month, slightly more robust version, which I do, um, or you use the free version. You really can, what you said early on really stuck with me, that you are the driver. So you decide, when you tell ChatGPT to give feedback, you give it the instructions it needs on uh, what to focus on, what materials it needs to review. When I use it to give student feedback, you're right, early on, it wouldn't give a grade. And that was fine with me, because what I really want is to provide more detailed feedback to students about their writing. So I kind of know what the grade should be when I read it. I've been doing this for decades. So what I really need is just to kind of speed up the process. One thing I ask AI to do I give it the assignment instructions, the rubric, all that, and I say, list 5 things the student did well and 5 things the student needs to improve. And then I just use that as a basis. I don't give them all 5 because that's often overwhelming. I might say, okay, you did these things well, and I really want you to focus on these 2 things in your revision, because my students always have to revise their papers, not their discussions. So I was really I think this is really useful information for people who haven't tried it before. And I think that what you said, another thing you said early on that I felt was really important is, even if you give them full credit for the discussion, say that doesn't mean that they can't learn. So if they get 100 on it, or 20 out of 20 or whatever it is, that doesn't mean it's like perfect and without flaw. It just means they met the assignment requirements, but they can still grow as writers.
Yeah,
So,
and sorry, go ahead,
oh,
finish.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that I, because this is subject or field related, what I'm about to say, social work is all about the practice. So they're gonna be out there in the field, they're gonna have clients, they're gonna have, we call them clients. If they're being clinicians, or they're being in whatever area of the many, that could be a hospital social worker. So, but it's practice, practice, practice. So I never gonna be stingy when it comes to practice. So anything that I can add to the think like a social worker, sort of, that's in that umbrella, right? I am not gonna be stingy on that part. And I'm not gonna apologize for that. Now, yes, without repeating what I just said about the 10 out of 10, but things to learn, that's where part of that comes from. That, in the practice, you know, I mean, we're not medical doctors, but life depends sometimes on us, the well-being of somebody. So this is serious business, and it have to be taken serious. And that's what my motivation.
Yeah, and that's a really great kind of closing point is, now in your field, I'm an English professor. Nobody's lives depend on what we do immediately, at least when they get out of school. But learning to communicate well in your field and in many fields is vitally important. So you're not just teaching students your course content, you're teaching them skills that will be useful to them throughout their lives. So thank
Yeah,
you for sharing this information.
and just one last thing. I know that not many of any other fields have students have to pass a license, but we do. We have one license, and then we have the clinical license later, and there's many different type of licenses, and all of those are to do the practice, or to be a therapist, etc. That's where the practical aspect shine. And if you don't have that, you're not going to be able to pass the license.
Yeah. Um, well, thank you again for sharing this information. As I said earlier, we will send a link to the recording and a link to the slides. So I will be reaching out to you to make sure I have the most um, up-to-date slides for this PowerPoint. And I hope that I'll also share with them your email address. So if anybody has
Yes.
questions, they can definitely reach out. Dr. Hernandez has spent a lot of time the last couple of years really becoming one of our local experts on Chat GPT and generative AI. So thank you again, and we hope to see everyone in the next session. If you missed the live session, it will also be recorded, and that session is talking about feedback for students and helping them deal with sometimes the criticisms that we give, and helping them understand that criticisms are to help them grow. So it's almost like Dr. Henderson and Dr. Hernandez planned this. They build on each
Almost.
other.
Almost. We've been working on this since last summer, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right, thank you.